Have you ever had one of those big, brilliant ideas? Maybe for starting a new business, but you felt kind of stuck because the whole world of finance just seems so complicated? Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to demystify it all. We're going to go on a little journey to understand all those key terms you'll bump into when you decide to get a loan and make that big idea a reality. Okay, let's get into it.
So, let's put ourselves in someone's shoes. Let's say you're Alex, an entrepreneur with this fantastic plan for a new small business. The only thing you're missing? The funding. The bank seems like the right move, but man, the language, it can feel like a total maze, right? Don't worry. We're going to walk through Alex's journey together, every single step, and make sense of it all.
So, Alex's very first challenge is getting some initial funding to just get things off the ground. You need cash for inventory, for marketing, for all those little unexpected costs that pop up. But you might not need all of it at once. So what's the first thing the bank offers?
They offer something called an overdraft account. The best way to think about this is like a financial safety net that's attached to your bank account. It's this pre-approved credit limit that you can just dip into whenever you need it. And you only pull out what you need when you need it. That flexibility, it's absolutely perfect for the early, unpredictable days of a business.
So let's make this real. Let's say the bank gives Alex a pretty big limit, but in that first month, they only need to withdraw this 15 lakhs. Now here's the most important part of an overdraft. Interest is only charged on the 15 lakhs that was actually used. It's kind of like a pay-for-what-you-use plan, which, for a new business watching every single rupee, is incredibly efficient.
Okay, so the overdraft was awesome for getting started, but now Alex needs a more serious, long-term loan for a big equipment purchase. And this means it's time to understand the real cost of borrowing money. And believe me, that conversation always starts with interest rates.
And right away, Alex hits a major fork in the road. Do you go with a fixed rate? This gives you predictability. Your payment is locked in, same amount every month for the whole loan. It's great for budgeting, but it usually starts a little bit higher. Or do you go with a floating rate? This one moves with the market. It might start lower, which saves you money up front, but it has that risk your payments could go up later. So it's that classic trade-off, right? Security versus the chance to maybe save some cash.
Now, no matter which interest rate you choose, the repayment is managed through something called an EMI. That stands for Equated Monthly Installment. And this is the magic word that makes a huge loan feel manageable. It's that one, single, consistent payment that Alex will make every single month. Super easy to build into the business budget.
So what's actually in that EMI payment? Well, every single installment is a mix of two different things. Part of it pays back the original loan, that's the principal, and the rest of it is the cost of borrowing, that's the interest. And the bank gives you this cool document, it's called an amortization schedule, and it lays out for you exactly how that split between principal and interest changes over the entire life of the loan. So Alex is feeling pretty good about all this, but is also being smart and a little cautious. I mean, starting a business is risky. What happens if life happens? An unexpected crisis, like a natural disaster or a huge market downturn that makes it just impossible to pay that EMI.
This is where a really important idea called a moratorium comes into play. Just think of it like a grace period, or even better, a pause button on your loan payments. It's a financial safety net that the bank can offer during times of real, documented hardship. It gives a borrower like Alex some much-needed breathing room to get back on their feet.
Now, this isn't something you can just ask for on a whim. A moratorium is for serious, unforeseen stuff. We're talking about things like a flood that totally disrupts Alex's operations, or a genuine, unexpected loss of business that's out of their control. It's really the bank's way of acknowledging that, hey, sometimes things go wrong.
All right, so Alex knows the risks, but is also laser-focused on the opportunities. The main goal is to grow the business, and that means keeping costs as low as possible. So Alex goes back to the bank and asks, is there any way at all to get a better, lower interest rate on this loan? And the answer is yes, by securing it.
How do you do that? You provide something called collateral security. In the simplest terms, this is an asset, like a piece of property or maybe some other valuable equipment that Alex pledges to the bank. Now, this doesn't mean the bank owns it. It just means that if Alex is completely unable to pay back the loan, the bank has a way to get its money back. At the end of the day, it's all about making the bank feel safer about lending you the money.
And what happens when you make the bank feel safer? You get a lower interest rate. Look at the difference it makes. By providing that collateral, the loan becomes secured, and the interest rate drops a lot compared to an unsecured loan. Over the years, this could save Alex's business a ton of money.
And you know what? This one little concept explains so much about our own personal finances.
Have you ever wondered why credit cards and personal loans have such sky-high interest rates? It's simple, really. They're unsecured. There's no collateral backing them up, so the lender charges a way higher rate to make up for that extra risk.
Okay, so the loan part, Alex has that down, but that's just the first contract you're going to sign as a business owner. You're going to see all sorts of other agreements with their own special jargon. So let's quickly check out 2 more common situations, starting with, say, renting a space for the business.
So when Alex signs a lease for an office space, there are 2 key players. The lessor is the rightful owner of the property. Just think landlord. And Alex, who's going to be paying rent to use that property. That makes Alex the lessee, or the tenant. Simple, right? The lessor owns it, the lessee uses it.
Okay, one more, and this one's a little different. What if Alex needs to give some valuable equipment to another company, maybe for a repair or just for storage? This creates a special relationship called a bailment. Alex, who owns the property, is the bailor. The company that takes it to look after it is the bailee. Now, the key details here are super important. The bailee is responsible for keeping it safe and has to return it, but they don't own it, and they absolutely cannot use it for themselves. And there you have it. From overdrafts to EMIs, collateral to leases, you've just walked through the essential language of borrowing and contracts. You followed Alex's journey from a big idea to a funded business, and you decoded all the jargon along the way. So the real question is, now that you know the terms, are you ready to go read the fine print?